Hi, my name is Paulus. This is the Business and Life Made Simple podcast, and I'm your host. And this is episode number 1. Yes, no, number 2. Okay, episode number 2. See, I don't even know what I've done anymore. Okay, so we're on a roll today. Today, we're going to continue on talking about what we talked about in the last podcast, which was about communities. We're going to go deep dive into some basic principles that I think we all need to figure out to really become successful in life and in business. And those are fear, love, and faith. And so don't need to necessarily think about those from a religious perspective. Look at them as a necessary thing to address, because in business, we need to have a little less fear. If you have a little more love, you'll have a little less fear. And then we'll be able to build better communities if we have more love. And ultimately, honestly, if you don't have faith in business, then you're going to have a rough time, because you need to step off some cliffs in order to and have a little faith that something's going to happen, or else you will always go back to fear and never get anywhere in your business. So if you're interested in learning a little more about this, get past the jingle and we'll get started.
No, it doesn't have to be so hard. 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 Business and life made simple.
All right, welcome to this next episode, podcast number 2. So we're moving right along. So I wanted to just continue on from the first podcast and talk about a couple more kind of principles that I feel like are important as we learn how to simplify our business and our life. So if you tuned in or didn't tune in, the first episode we talked about community and the importance of community and how that's really the key to finding true joy. I mean, I think we can all get to a level of happiness alone, but to really feel that true, intimate, deep connection and joy, we need to connect with other people and to connect with them on a deeper level. We really, truly are interdependent beings. And so I wanted to talk about today to kind of expand on that. And it's like, okay, so what is holding us back from being that? Okay, if we really do think we need communities, what are some of the things that are holding us back? And so I wanted to talk about a few kind of words that I often reference. And I don't look at these as religious terms. I look at these as more principles. And I think it's important to acknowledge that we're all spiritual beings, no matter how we all acknowledge how we're getting that spiritual influence. I really do believe that spirituality is a basic legitimate need that we all have. And so 3 words I wanted to talk about was fear, love, and then faith, and the importance of understanding these 3 principles. So, or three elements that influence our lives. So to me, I believe that love is the antidote to fear. So to really get fear out of our lives and have it not debilitate us as much, we really need to have more love. So I think about, okay, the world is very divided right now, and a lot of anger and hatred, and so I think there's a lot of fear about the extremes of different situations, and so how do we get more love in our life and in our hearts, and how do we love people and see the good in them despite our differences? And so ultimately what we don't realize is that by loving, it actually helps us out. So often we think, we get kind of selfish, and you think about fear, it really becomes a selfish motive, because we're more focused on ourselves than about loving other people. So it's an interesting phenomenon that we end up getting more unhappy because we're more fearful. And it's ultimately probably because we're not looking outward and loving others and putting others before ourselves and thinking of how can we serve other people. And so no wonder why we have so much depression and addiction and all these things, because we are very much a fear society and so much of what we do. And, they think about the news and the media, and everything is built upon fear. And so I've been on a fear journey myself on how to always constantly trying to figure out how to get rid of fear. And I'm at this unique spot because I really feel like I don't fear much anymore. And if I do, I feel it coming in and I figure out ways to push it out and to overcome it. And so I'm sure when I get on a stage with hundreds of people, my fear will kick in. Don't worry, I'll find a way to get fearful again. But for right now, where I'm at, it's not because I'm not doing things I'm not comfortable with, but it's just that I'm learning to really feel peace and love. And for me, honestly, I'm spiritual, so for me, it's the love of my Savior coming in my heart that helps me along the way. So I think we all have to figure out what's going to fill that void, that love void within all of us that we might be missing, so that we can better love other people. Um, but regardless of that side of things, like, I think it's really important to figure out, like, what is holding us back, what is making me fearful. and so for me, I think back to like a decade ago, like, when I started dating my husband, and there were a few things that, we were different on, and I was much more spiritual than he was. And I started to have a lot of fear. And I actually came across a scripture that says, there is no fear in love, but perfect love casteth out fear, because fear hath torment. He that feareth is not made perfect in love. And so it just made me realize that how can I love him the way I need to if I have fear? And so that kind of set me on this journey of really figuring out how to open my heart up to people. And I came from a past marriage before I met my husband of somebody that just really struggled, seeing the good in people, and seeing, um, and just understanding that everybody has their journey and their own unique thing. And so after my divorce, I had to really figure out who I was, and just realizing that, I kind of like people, that people, despite our struggles and our journeys and our differences, uh, that we're all inherently good people. There's obviously those really, really evil people out there that we can't ever really understand, but I really believe the majority of people are good, that we all are trying to do the best we can with the knowledge that we have. And so it's really opened my heart up to really love more people, and to understand that we're all doing the best we can with the knowledge that we have. And it's really allowed me to fear less. And then there's a couple quotes that have helped me fear less, and really put faith first. And I think as entrepreneurs, like, we have to have faith. Like, that's not even a religious term when it comes to entrepreneurship, because I think as any entrepreneurs listening know that you have to be willing to walk off cliffs many, many times, not knowing if there's anything there to catch you. And so I just can't even think about how many times I've had to do that. And if you listen to my intro podcast, I actually talk a little bit about some of those cliff jumps I've had to do. And so I think for us, we have to be willing to have faith in what's ahead, and know that, okay, if we know we made the right decision, then let's just go forward with faith, and whatever happens, happens, and we'll deal with it at that point. And so a couple quotes that I often say to my kids and also to myself, and it's from actually a church song we sing. And I don't really even like the melody of the song. It's like a staccato. If you know the music industry, it's a very staccato sounding, so choppy kind of sound. And the words are, "Do what is right, let the consequences follow." And I think that's such a good thing to always think about. It's like, you know what? I'm going to do what I know is right, do what I feel like I was supposed to do, and whatever happens, happens. And then you just deal with it then, instead of just fearing about, oh, what if, or should I do this one? And just fearing about all of it, just get the decision in your mind based on your mind and your heart. I think it's important to connect those two. It's not just what your mind feels or what your heart feels, but connect the two, and then make a decision off your mind and your heart, and then go forward with faith that it's the right thing to do. So that's one of my go-to quotes that I often tell my kids, so that they can start to live a life based on principles and morals, and really stand up for stand up for truth in that way. And then the other thing is the other quote, and I actually just forgot the quote, so I'm actually going to turn around and look at my little plaque I have. It's "Come what may and love it," and that was actually a quote by Joseph B. Worthland was the guy that had said that quote, and I just love that too, because you know what, trials are going to happen in life, and if we just learn to embrace them, and then love the journey, love the struggle. There's a girl that started working for me, and she's been with me probably 6 months now, and I actually asked her, I said, how was this is actually from a friendship perspective. So I was, but I said, we're out to lunch, and I said, how was your childhood? Because she's the most chill, loves trials, loves problem solving, just doesn't seem to ever get jolted or fearful on anything. And her sister is the same way. And it's really been a true phenomenon, because a lot of times I know, like, your childhood, you're trying to unwind your childhood for the rest of your life, it seems like. And she just like has it all together from that perspective. And I was like, how was your childhood? And she's like, oh, it's great. They have a great relationship with their siblings and their parents. And you could just tell that she's always had a safe place to springboard off from. And it really shows in the way she helps with our team and building our team and overcoming the trials and the struggles. And so I thought I had come a long way in that department, but she really has been an inspiration for me too. And really just loving the trial and the journey. And it's been fun to just kind of laugh about some of the problems and struggles that we've had. And like, okay, what are we going to do? How are we going to solve this one? And it really, the sooner I learned to realize that business is about solving problems, the sooner I was able to just relax about it and be like, oh no, what did I do wrong? Or why did this person quit? What did I do wrong? And now it's like you realize that it's all part of the process and all part of the journey. And I don't fear about it anymore. And it's been just such a liberating thing as a business owner to not fear about all of those little things that I used to wonder, what did I do wrong? Or and I think this might be helpful to know that you're not unique in all these problems. If an employee quits or different things happen, like that's just business. And so the sooner you realize that it's not that something's probably wrong with you in that scenario, it's just that there's I say that loosely because you always want to analyze first and be like, okay, was there something I could have done better? So I'm going to lay that out there. But at the end of the day, like, all these things happen in every business owner when you go and talk to them. So don't think that your situation is unique in that way. And the more we just learn to embrace our trials and our struggles, I've just known a lot of people, and even some people really close to me, that were always looking for the next thing that was going to make them happy. And it was like, okay, I'm going to try this, and then that's going to make me happy. Or I'm going to do yoga, and that's going to make me happy. Or I'm going to meditate longer, and that's going to make me happy. And so often we get caught up in that one thing that's going to make us happy, instead of all of these small things coming together that are ultimately going to give us that level of joy and happiness in our lives. So come what may and love it. If you just, that's a really good quote, that you just say that a lot, that it starts to just stick. And then do what is right, let the consequences follow. And that's another great thing. And it's so easy in business to start to compromise your values, your ethics, or in different things, like whether related to marketing or just certain business relationships. And so it's just really important to choose now what kind of person you want to be, and then go forward with it. And you won't feel like you're tossed by different people and their I don't know, their opinions or their lack of mental stability. It's just really important to know what you stand for and who you want to be, and you figure that out sooner. Because then, if you know who you are and what you stand for, you're going to have a lot less fear, because you're going to be like, okay, this is what I stand for. This is who I want to be, and go forward. And whatever happens, and let the consequences follow. And I'm going to just come what may and love it. It's just if you start to live by that, and then figure out based on your mind and heart what decisions to make, and be like, okay, I'm going to go forward with faith. And again, whatever happens. So again, I just wanted to kind of just briefly start talking about fear, faith, and love, and the importance of those in this community that we're building. So I hope you enjoyed podcast number 2. And here we go. We're going to keep going. So I'm on a roll now. So hopefully you feel inspired by these. I'm really excited to start giving my message out to all of you. And again, please like or comment on the podcast. I really would love your guys' feedback. So thanks again. Talk to you soon. Bye.
No, it doesn't have to be so hard. 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 Business and life made simple.